Drew, welcome in.
Yeah.
Sorry you haven't had a chance to speak yet. This happens to all of us. Don't worry. That's how you know you're on the show.
Part of the gig.
I didn't know I was going to have action on Mage this week, but it feels like sired by good magic. And with the magic kind of intro, I'm going to need to relook at Mage. But yeah, thank you guys for having me. I hope you're having a wonderful Thurby.
It's been awesome. And we absolutely need you here because we're actually going to learn how to bet the Derby. What now? What now?
Explain who Drew is. Our audience may not watch
well,
Bet the Edge.
I tried so many times.
As opposed to just welcoming in him. Connor, can you at least tell America who this guy is?
Drew not only is a man of many betting talents, like betting the Kentucky Derby, but he is Jay's co-host on Bet the Edge here at NBC Sports.
Right.
So
he is one of our sports betting analysts here at NBC.
An actual expert, not a man dressed in a Dracula magician outfit shooting money in a booth. So listen to what Drew has to say during this next segment. And listen, a little Kentucky Derby news to start this here, Drew. Practical Move, who was 10-1 to win, scratched from the event today as we show you the full odds list here. But let's start real simple here, Drew. How do you analyze the movement of odds in the Kentucky Derby with all the horses that are still in the race?
Sure, yeah. So unlike, in general sports betting, the market is fluid. The prices change, and that's a huge part of the handicap. You have to be able to anticipate where the money is going to flow. Is it going to flow into the favorite? Is it going to be on the long shots? And, we live in a world now where, after last year's 80-1 Rich Strike win, we're expecting in these high-profile races, the Joes have been, kind of hitting the longer prices with nuclear force. And for that reason, kind of sucked a lot of the value out of the real long shots as everyone's trying to chase that super, super high payout. But the Kentucky Derby is a fantastically interesting handicap. It's the most difficult race to handicap in all of in all of racing, maybe in all of sports, because you have 20 young horses without a lot of experience. We don't have a huge track record on these guys, and in general, putting 20 horses on a track and saying, "Hey, go run, a mile and a quarter," you're going to have uncertainty. It's going to create opportunities for wild value. Last year, if you hit the superfecta correctly, $1 paid 320,000 to 1, which is absolutely ridiculous, and you're not going to find those type of payouts in any other sport. So this is a uniquely fun and interesting and challenging way to play, and as a betting man, it's close to my heart.
There you go. Rich Strike last year. So last year, coming into the Derby, a horse got scratched, and so Rich Strike comes in at the last minute. He's 80-1 odds. No one bets on him. He ends up winning. And to your point, then it's crazy payouts for those that had Rich Strike or that had him in a trifecta or a superfecta, what have you. And you have a scenario like this year. We just had a horse scratched, and there is now Magical Mischief, is it? What's the name of the horse that just came in?
Oh, Cyclone Mischief, I believe, is the last horse in. And Cyclone Mischief, interesting horse. I guess here you go. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of people that are going to make predictions this week. A prediction you can take to the bank. I don't think we are done with scratches from this race so far. Right. There are some interesting horses still on the also eligible that may get into the race ultimately. Like next up, I believe Mandarin Hero would be. He's 20-1 right now on the morning line, and he could have something to say about this race. So we have a long way to go to finally sort out this field. But last year's race was pretty unbelievable, and I don't think we're really due for that type of Derby this year. You had the fastest ever first half of a mile in Derby history. That created a pace meltdown, which really opened the door for Rich Strike to pull off the impossible.
Let's get into some picks. And Drew, who better to start with than you? You saw the field, pretty vast group. Who are you picking in this Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, so for me, this is all about trying to take on the favorite. Forte at 3-1 is too short of a price for me to get involved with. So I'm looking in that middle class to try to find value. And I think this is going to be a little bit slower pace after what we saw last year with the pace meltdown. And for that reason, I want a horse that's going to be somewhat forwardly placed, in the lead, near the lead, and to me, the most likely horse and the only horse with quality in that group is the number 2, Verifying. I believe in Brad Cox as a trainer. I think we're going to get a price on him in around the 15-1 range, which would be just outstanding. There are many other horses you could make a very strong case for, kind of in the middle class of this year's race, and it's going to be a lot of fun to put together some exotic tickets. But for me, Verifying on top.
I like Verifying as a call as well. I'll give you another one that I think is interesting is Derma Sotogake, who is it's a Japanese horse. What? I got that close.
Yeah, okay.
Sotogake.
Okay.
Derma Sotogake. Did I get that right, Drew?
I give him a 9 out of 10 for pronunciation there.
Okay.
He almost nailed it.
4, but that's fine.
No, how would you pronounce it?
I'd say it without emphasizing every single syllable because you know that you might not say it right.
That's right. Listen,
Derma Sotogake.
You're just rolling through it. I'm pronunciating it very clearly. Derma Sotogake, just to make sure that I nail it. But the fact of the matter is, he's the fastest horse in the race. We've never seen a horse from Japan win the Kentucky Derby. So is there a reason for it? Or is he due? But I do think in a race that we don't think where there's a particularly bunch of fast horses, I think he's the fastest horse here. He won the UAE overseas, so I like him. I like Verifying, and I also think there's a reason Forte's the favorite. There's a reason he's the favorite.
A man with many picks, Matthew Berry.
Absolutely.
That's basically my box, by the way. That's basically my box.
Before we go to break, Bet the Edge, me and Drew can check us out. We're Monday to Friday, wherever you download your podcast. We're also on the NBC Sports YouTube channel, going deep diving into everything betting. Not one sport specific, just absolutely everything. We've got some great guests on all the time as well.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, okay, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.